Hello and welcome to Firearm Freedom. This is going to be another First Impressions video. In today's First Impressions video, we are taking a look at this World War I Colt 1911. And before we get this video started, I wanted to give a shout out to this video's sponsor. Today's sponsor is going to be Gators Eyewear. If you're looking for just some savage new eyewear, whether it is ballistic shooting glasses or just awesome looking aviators like the Skyhooks that I was wearing in today's video, the link down in the description, I'll also pin it in the comments, and that will bring you to the Gators website, and whatever you purchase goes to help supporting the channel, and I seriously appreciate it. This is quite a special video. I'm pretty pumped about this, and I'm going to be kind of calling out all of my hardcore Colt 1911 collectors out there to help me with this video. I have done my own research and I've kind of come to my own conclusions about this pistol, but I am by no means an expert when it comes to older Colts, and there's a lot of people that truly are. So I'd appreciate any feedback you guys have in the comment section below. This 1911 is by far kind of my prized possession of my 1911s, and I just recently picked it up. First and foremost, what is the unfortunate reality of this World War I Colt 1911? It is the fact that it is, of course, re-blued, as you can see. Now, anybody that is a true 1911 collector or a true collector of any vintage firearms, you can pick it out immediately that this Colt has been re-blued. Some of the primary indicators of re-bluing is, one, the fact that this pistol is from World War I and it looks like this. It looks almost brand new in the finish department. And then two, and it's going to be almost impossible to show this in the video, but you'll notice some waves in the finish, and that's where they hit it with a buffer wheel. And what happened a lot with these pistols back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, these guns were a dime a dozen, right? Everybody had them. They were incredibly cheap military surplus pistols, and although they had sentimental value to a lot of folks that brought them back, to others they just didn't really have that much sentimental value, and they wanted to keep them nice. So what a lot of people would do is say, hey, local gunsmith, can you return this to how it would have looked back in World War I and kind of stop the pitting and the rusting from happening and just kind of revive the finish? So the gunsmith would buff out any of the pitting and patina that was there, re-blue the gun, add new grips on it, and now you have a pistol where unfortunately most of the collector's value has been completely taken away. Now, in modern day, again, you have a lot less collector's value, but that is how I was able to get this pistol at a pretty ridiculously low price point. When it comes to re-bluing jobs, I will say that this one is still very, very good. A lot of the bluing jobs, they just completely get rid of all the roll markings and they just totally smoke the frame, smoke the slide. There's just nothing left. The serrations are gone. This one still looks excellent. One of the immediate things that I noticed again on the re-bluing is the pony here in the rear of the slide. You can see that that's the only one they hit a little bit hard with the buffer wheel, and unfortunately half of the pony is gone. It's still there, but again, it is still partly gone. Now, from what I can tell on this pistol, the serial number dating on Colt's website says that the frame itself is 1918. So again, this is a World War I frame. All of the research that I was able to do says that most of the other parts check out with that. Now, I do notice immediately that this slide stop / release is a replacement part. Looks about like World War II era-ish of an Arsenal replacement. Maybe it was a replacement after the fact. But you'll notice that, again, that has somewhat of a parkerizing job as well. So again, that is most definitely a replacement part. And the other thing that I noticed when it comes to the slide markings itself is the fact that this almost indicates to me that the slide is slightly older than the frame. What you're going to notice is that the non-circled rear located pony here in the back, right? It's not in the middle. indicates that the slide was probably manufactured serial number range from 20,000 to 285,000, right? Well, this serial number is a 400,000 serial number. So again, it's a little bit strange to me. That's why I wanted to ask you guys in the comment section that this appears to be an earlier slide. Would it may have been re-arsenaled-ish or swapped together with the wrong slide at some point during World War I? I don't know, but it does appear to be an original Colt slide. All the markings check out, everything appears to be proper. Now, there is not any sort of a serial number on the slide itself underneath the firing pin block there where you normally would see. However, there is what I think, it's very hard to tell, what I think is an H marking there on top. Now, the H marking for me, bear with me here, but from my understanding, the H marking, and there's also an H marking on the frame itself, on the top by the disconnector, and that appears to be an inspector's mark from a Francis L. Hosmer, and basically he used that stamp on Colt 1911s and 1917 revolvers from 1911 to 1919. And it says it's also found on barrels and slides. And again, that appears to be an H marking as well. And that would, again, be accurate to the fact that this is a 1918 frame, considering that he marked those guns from 1911 up to 1919. So again, just a very, very cool piece there. And the other interesting thing, which unfortunately, again, the buffer wheel hit just a little bit too hard. I'm going to try to get the camera to focus. It's going to be a little tough, and you guys can see it right there, but I believe that is the Eagle's Head marking, and that's a Springfield inspection mark, and it's on 1911 frames. Now that appears to be an S17. I don't know what actual specification that has, but I thought that was super interesting. So I'm not entirely sure exactly what that would be. It just appears to be that Eagle's Head marking, and the actual Eagle's Head is just not visible at the top because it was hit a little bit too hard with the buffer wheel. Now, the barrel is most definitely an Arsenal replacement. It is marked P underneath the locking lug of the barrel, and from everything that I found, that is an indication that it is a post-World War II, 1949-ish Arsenal barrel that was replaced at some point. So all of these indicators to me make me believe that this pistol was probably in service up to the 40s until it got recycled out. It was re-arsenaled once or twice. Somebody got it back in the day after that and simply decided to refinish it. And I'm just curious to see what you guys think. Of course, these are replacement grips. Now, the grips themselves I am going to replace with a darker, more worn set of rosewood grips that I'm going to be getting thanks to a viewer. And I think those rosewood grips are just going to look incredible. Now, as far as the safety, that appears to be proper. The backstrap safety appears to be proper, and the hammer as well is proper. The trigger itself is a model 1911 trigger. We have a straight backstrap with a lanyard loop, and everything checks out. This gun is, for all intents and purposes, incredible aside from the refinish. How did it shoot at the range? You guys are going to notice I was being very gentle on this gun when it came to the reloads and other things. Yes, this is refinished. Yes, it doesn't have as much collector's value, but to me, it's still an incredible pistol, and I would hate to damage it any further. This thing is over 100 years old, and I had the absolute blessing to be able to shoot this at the range today. So when it came to reloads, I was just a little bit gentle on the reloads, a little bit gentle on the slide release. I wasn't racking the slide super hard, and I just don't want to put this pistol through any more heartache than it's probably already been through in potentially 2 world wars. Now, you are going to experience all of the standard, I don't even say issues, but just things on a 1911 and early 1911, and that is, of course, hammer bite. You guys will notice there I got a little bit of hammer bite from the range, so I was primarily using gloves. The mixture of this large spurred hammer in the back with a kind of tiny backstrap is going to cause you to get pinched a little bit. Not the end of the world. You have OG 1911 sights. These are very, very hard to pick up, and again, are just going to make shooting a little interesting. But you know, I have to say, this gun shot 100% reliably with 100 rounds, absolutely zero issues, and probably about 15 different types of 1911 magazines throughout the day, and I was thoroughly impressed. It is very cool to see a gun like this that has probably been through so much in its time actually still able to shoot and shoot well 100 years later. As far as accuracy, I only did one group at about 10 yards. Accuracy was tight, no problems at all there. And if I did my part, this gun can absolutely still get it done. Now, I only shot 100 rounds. I know this gun is reliable, and quite frankly, I just didn't want to push it past the point of failure. These guns are a little bit prone to cracking here in the slide itself if you push it a little bit too far, if you're just smoking it downrange. So I didn't want to worry about that. This is absolutely going to go in my 1911 display case, and it's going to be kind of front and center because it's by far the coolest one that I have. I wish it was not refinished, but I do think that this still holds somewhat of a collector value, and I think at the price that I got it for, it's just a very, very, very cool gun. As far as just, of course it was reliable, how did it feel to shoot this thing with the reliability and the accuracy that I had? Every time I pulled the trigger, it was by far ranking as one of the cooler guns that I've shot, hands down. Every time that you pull those sights up, and I was doing some single-handed shooting as well just to get those vibes from World War I, you just feel the soul that this gun has. And it's an incredible pistol through and through. I absolutely love everything about it. And hopefully you guys won't kind of rip my heart out in the comments section telling me this is like a fake slide or something like that and it's not an original Colt. But I do want you guys to be honest. I'm very curious about these markings. And I know a lot of folks out there are far more educated on this stuff than I am. The United States property marking looks proper and right where it should be. The serial number marking, again, looks proper. So let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. That is going to wrap up this first impressions video on this beautiful Colt model 1911 from 1918. If you guys have any questions about this pistol or anything else on the channel, please throw them down below in the comment section and I absolutely will get back to you. While you're down there, head up to the description for the ways to support the channel, and as always, stay tuned for more great videos coming soon.